Oh, hello. I forgot you were stopping by today. Hi everybody. It is Haley, of course, of Discourse of a Divine Diva. And I'm doing a little something different this Saturday night. Just checking in with you guys. We're gonna chat. We're just gonna hang out. And it certainly probably won't be as long as our other videos. But I wanted to recap my whole reunion trip for you guys and just kind of talk about the things that happened and the feelings involved in that. I'm going to make sure that the sound is working because, you know, I want I want to make sure that everything's okay. So I'm just going to bring this up real quick and make sure that everything's working right. Okay, it does. It's working. Okay. Um, so yeah, I just want to do check in for a bit while everything's still fresh and I can breathe through my nose finally. I thought I would just sit down with y'all and talk about it. I will have a blog post up. Sorry, I'm moving things around. I will have a blog post up hopefully next week with lots of pictures and videos and a little bit of the information I'm going to talk with you about now. But I'm still processing all of these emotions, and I figured it'd just be easier to sit down and talk. So I have a glass of wine for my wine connoisseurs. This is a Stoller Family Estate 2016 Pinot Noir. It's very delicious. It smells very good. So get your favorite wine and join me, will you? Because we're just going to talk about my vacation and all that stuff. So I do have a few notes because I didn't want to forget anything that I've been thinking about and wanting to talk about. I've written about what I'm probably going to cry at some point, you guys. I've written about what this trip kind of means to me. I've written about it on the blog in a Friday Feels. Why am I crying already? Oh my God. I haven't even drank any wine yet. So so yeah, I thought we'd just talk about it. Obviously. So we're going to start at the beginning, right? So I have known about this trip for most of the year, I guess. I didn't know if I'd be able to go because I didn't actually graduate from this high school. I went to 3 different high schools, and this happens to be my first high school where I did most of my growing up, right? So it was in North Augusta, South Carolina. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Oh, Normie's here. Hi, Normie. Yes, wine. So I don't know if y'all familiar with North Augusta. It's right across the river from Augusta, Georgia. That's where the Masters happens. Maybe that jogs your memory. So anyway, I moved there. I moved to South Carolina in the middle of 4th grade from Texas. And we lived in a smaller town in South Carolina, and I did the other half of 4th grade there. And then we moved in a less rural location. It was way out there in Jackson, South Carolina. I was talking to someone who had been out there recently, and apparently they have one stoplight now, which that tells you how small it was. I haven't been there in a really long time, so I don't know. But anyway, then we moved to North Augusta, and I started 5th grade there. And I did all of middle school and then 9th and 10th grade. So that was the point in my life where things started to get really crappy at home. And I've written about it on the blog, and I've talked about it a lot, and I don't want to cry. So anyway, things were really, really bad. And it got to a point where I felt like I was going to kill myself. Like I wanted to. I thought that was my only way to get out of that situation. Shit, why am I crying already? This is for later. So when that became something that I thought about regularly, because living at home was so bad. Specifically, this was during a time when I lived with my dad and my stepmom, and things just got really, really bad. They were awful, and especially my stepmom and my dad didn't do anything about it. And I've talked about this on the blog, but it got to a point where I thought about killing myself all the time. And I knew that something had to change. So that's why I moved. That's why I had to move. And a lot of people that I went to school with still don't know that. And certainly didn't know it then, because I wasn't really allowed to say anything to anyone, because I thought that my dad would find out, and I totally would have gotten beat if he did. So that's a whole thing. So I have had to have a little bit of this conversation with people recently, and that's fine. It's just emotional is all. There's nothing wrong with being emotional, but anyway, that's why I didn't know if I'd be able to go to this reunion or not, because I didn't graduate from there, and I didn't know if there were rules or whatever. So when I found out that I could go, I was super excited to go. And actually, I'm wearing my shirt that we got at the reunion. I wore it for the homecoming game, and we will talk about that in just a few minutes. But anyway, once I found out I could go, then I started having all these emotions, and I did write a whole post about that, and you can read all that. I took a few notes about things that I was worried about in that post that I wrote back in May, and I was going to cover some of, what happened in regards to those things or whatever. The trip was really great, though. It was 13 days, so it was a really long time, but half of that was spent with my sister in Savannah, and the other half was reunion related. So I'm always an overpacker, and I was really, really worried about it because it was a longer trip. And we're going to be jumping around subject to subject at this point, because my brain's still processing everything, which is part of the reason why I'm just talking to you about it. I just want to make sure that I go over stuff. And so some of it will be happy, some of it will be emotional. You know how we do. Let me get a sip of wine. It's been a really long day, so if my eyes start getting red, it's because of this light and stuff, because it ends up hurting my eyes really bad. So I'm okay. Don't worry about me. So anyway, and I took a lot of awesome outfit photos today, so I can't wait to show you guys on the blog very soon. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. So yeah, packing, right? As a plus size person, our clothes take up more room, and it's so difficult to, especially for me, if you're high maintenance like me, then you get it, to fit everything in and make sure that the suitcase is underweight and all of that stuff. My suitcase was 48 pounds. I was so excited that I got it underweight. I tried really, really hard to plan my outfits. I planned the reunion outfits way ahead of time. I had a Pinterest board with inspiration and the outfits that I was set on wearing. That helped a lot. And I started packing about a week in advance. My sister, the time at my sister's was first. So we did 5 days there. And that was going to be, and was really relaxing, really casual. So I didn't need a lot of extra stuff. But because we had all these events for the reunion, I packed extra for that. Still, I only took 4 pairs of shoes with me, and that's a big deal for me. So I was really, really proud of myself for all of that. I did take way more makeup than I needed, though, but it was I like options. So I had 3 different glitter eyeshadows and lots of other extra things that I didn't wear, that I didn't need. But But it was fun going through my makeup with my niece. I'll tell you that. We shared our makeup collection. We showed each other all of our stuff, and that was super fun. So we did a red eye on Thursday night. We left on the 20th. And we flew from here, Portland, to Boston. We had a 3-hour layover in Boston. We got some Dunkin' Donuts, so that was great. And then we went to Savannah, and that flight is actually only a couple of hours. We flew JetBlue, so I don't know if you guys have issues with flying. I hate flying. I'm terrified of flying. So that was a big deal for me. I've never flown JetBlue before. While the seats were, they were wide-ish, I guess, compared to other places. Like I wasn't quite as wedged in. I did have bruises on my hips from the armrest that wouldn't go up because I like the window seat. And, you know, I was smushed in next to Sean, but it wasn't crazy uncomfortable. The seatbelt fit me fine. I have like 59-inch hips. The seatbelt fit fine. I didn't need an extender. So that was cool. And we got the even more space one. So from my knee to the seat in front of me was about 7 inches. So I want to put all that information out. If you're scared of flying because you're bigger, look into JetBlue. Like, again, the seat width wasn't awesome, but it was doable. And the extra room was really great to have. So that is a good option, and I would definitely fly JetBlue again in the future if I have the opportunity. So yeah, I mean, it was okay. An uneventful flight is a good one because that means nothing crazy happened. And I was medicated, so it wasn't as bad as it usually is. Like, this is how scared of flying I am. Normally, when they start boarding, I start crying because I'm so terrified of flying. And because I was medicated this time, I was okay. I got a little freaked out on takeoff. Like, I squeezed Sean's hand till I feel like I might break it, and then I get really worried and I let go. But but it was okay. It was fine. We did okay. Anyway, so once we got to Savannah, my sister took us out to a tasty restaurant, and we had breakfast, and it was super tasty and wonderful. And we got biscuits and gravy. I got an omelet. Sorry, my throat's all dry again. My nose has been a little funky today, but we'll make it work. Anyway, then we went back to her house and kind of got settled in. And then we just ended up talking for a really long time. And I thought, I didn't know if I'd need to take a nap because I do need more rest without my thyroid, and traveling and vacation is usually tougher for me because on vacation, I'm usually getting up really early in the morning and going to bed really late because I make the most of the day and try to get everything done that I possibly can. So that was difficult. Normie says, I got her through her first flight. Yay. Girl, I'm always terrified. But when someone else is scared too, then I have to like buck up. And that's what friends are for, you know? So yeah, we went to my sister's house. We chatted for hours. I was tired, but it was nice just sitting and talking. And so I thought, you know, if I can stay up through the rest of this day, I can go to bed at a decent time, sleep, and then start on a nice schedule, because the change in time zones is crazy too. So anyway, so that's what we did. I was up for 33 hours total. We went to bed around 9 on Friday. I think it was 9. And I got like 12 hours of sleep though, which was nice. But when I woke up, we were supposed to get ready and go grocery shopping or something that day, and I was still so tired, and I started to have a panic attack. And my sister would rather stay home too, so she was totally fine with it, and she brought me flowers and told me not to worry because I'm so hard on myself, and I'm like, I need to do all of this. Everything needs to be perfect, you know? And so it was time for me to be a little easier on myself. They talked me into it, Sean and my sister. And so, yeah, we just had another day where we hung out and talked and had a good time. And the time with my sister was very relaxing. It was very fun. We still went shopping. We went to the outlet malls there in Savannah. We perused the Coach store and thought about all the things that we wanted to buy. We went to Torrid and I found a tank top and a really pretty maxi dress that I also wore on vacation, and that'll be on the blog. And it was on clearance too, which was awesome, but they've got a big old store there. It's usually packed with stuff. We went there last time too. So we did get to go grocery shopping. We did get to go shopping. We went out to lunch. We had a great time. And the rest of the time we hung out with the kids and my sister and talked and relaxed and played with the dogs. And my nephew is really into video games and stuff, so Sean would play that with him. And the three of us, me and Sean and Jonathan, that's my nephew's name, we played Mario Kart till I hurt my thumb. My niece, she was on her iPad and stuff. She really likes music. So we would hear the stuff that she was listening to, because they're at that age where they, you know, they're kind of like in their rooms or on their iPads and stuff, but at least they were hanging out in the room with us for a little bit and we got to be around them. And we shared our makeup collections, and it was just really a fun time to spend with them, because that's what I wanted. I didn't want to do any touristy stuff. I just wanted to spend time with them. So we had a great time. We didn't take a whole lot of pictures there because most of the time we were in like house clothes and jammies and stuff, just chilling out. And it was nice. But my sister and I did have a really fun photo shoot, and that will be on the blog next week. What does Normie say? We went and saw that movie about the flight, the scary one before. Oh, that was the Final Destination one, right, Norm? Yeah, that's not a good movie to see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Final Destination movie. Because after we saw the movie, I went in the bathroom. I had to go really bad, and I just knew that like the pipes were gonna burst or something was gonna impale me while I was using the bathroom. That movie was freaky. It was freaking me out. I'm pretty sure that's the one you're talking about. So yeah, let's see. At my sister's, yeah, we had a really good time. She made a lot of really tasty food for us. I took pictures of a couple of things, but I would be so hungry that I'd forget to take pictures. But she made clam chowder, she made shrimp and grits. There was grilled chicken and green beans. She always had tasty coffee for us. She had like various gluten-free dinners planned for me. She's so sweet. She took good care of me. And we had a really great time. It was just so much fun to spend with her. And I'm really glad it was before the reunion stuff too, so I could just kind of decompress and relax. Let's see. The middle of the following week, right? Then we drove up to Augusta to stay in a hotel and go to the reunion stuff. So then it was Thursday. When I look at my notes, we had dinner. Sean and I had dinner with a couple of friends of mine, and it was really nice just to see them again. I mean, I hadn't seen them in a really long time, and I was so nervous. I wanted to be the best me that I could be. I wanted to be like the prettiest me and the most awesome me and the smartest me. And I wanted to make them laugh, and I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to impress them so they would still like me, I guess. I know it sounds stupid, but anyway, it went really well. Jennifer I hadn't seen since 2007. And Brandon I hadn't seen since 2003. So it was really, really nice to catch up, to hang out. We've laughed and talked, and they learned some new things about me that they didn't know from when I was a kid. So some of the things that I talked about in the blog post about how things were really bad in my house, they didn't know. And so they were like, oh, that makes sense, the way you acted or reacted or things that were going on. Like, I would spend a lot of time at Jennifer's house on the weekends. We would have sleepovers all the time. I wanted to be not at my house, right? And she didn't know that, because I didn't think that I could tell anybody, because my dad would always say, what happens in this house stays in this house. And I thought, if he finds out that I've said anything, I'll be in a lot of trouble. And so I didn't want to get in trouble, and I wouldn't tell anyone anything. And I mean, I'm still not great at communicating, especially my emotions, which is why this is just like a rambling thing. But I was really, really bad at it then, like super, super bad at it. And so like I couldn't even tell you why I was crying. Like, I'd just be crying at school, and people would ask why, and I'd say I don't know, or I'd be like, never mind, or I'm fine, that kind of thing, because I didn't know how to communicate why I was feeling anyway. I didn't have those tools. I didn't learn how to talk about my emotions, because at home it was either yelling or name calling or whatever. My mom was always telling me what a disgusting piece of fat crap I was. And so, and my dad was always saying, don't tell anyone about what happens in this house. And so just not good, not good coping mechanisms or communication. Like, there was no teaching of the things you need to be a well-rounded individual, because nobody in my house was a well-rounded individual. And so, yeah, so we had a really great conversation. We stayed there till the restaurant closed, and we're like, oh, shoot, yeah, we should probably go. But I felt so grateful that they took this extra time on a weeknight. I mean, they had to work, to meet me and talk to me and stuff. It just, it made me feel really loved. So I'm going to try not to cry. Shoot. All right, so moving right along, the next day was Friday, and that was when we had the homecoming game. And so we were supposed to go, Sean and I were supposed to go get some lunch and go to my my dad's grave, because he's buried out there. And I really didn't think that I would start crying right away. So sorry about that. But anyway, I needed to sleep in on Friday, you guys. I was so tired. And I'd been getting up early at my sister's because she gets up at 6. And I just wanted to try to maximize my time with her as much as possible. So, and I was still kind of on this weird time schedule. So I would get up early and try to maximize the time that I got to spend with her. So Friday was the only day that I could sleep in. And so I did a little bit. So then, that night was the homecoming game. So deep breath. So we were all supposed to meet at the high school. The homecoming game was obviously at the high school stadium. And man, they have built a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of new stuff. And some people had gone earlier to the pep rally at the school and got a tour of the school. I couldn't make it up that early. So I didn't make it to the tour, but thank you, Normie. But there was just a lot going on. And anyway, I got to the homecoming game. We were a little bit late, and I couldn't remember where we were supposed to meet. Like, I couldn't find it. And so we were walking, Sean and I were walking around looking for it. And I was texting my friend, like, where are we? What's going on? So we made it down there. And he came and got me. He's like, oh, hey, we're over here. So he started running. He's like, we have to go on the field. What? So we started running. I ran after him. And we got to go stand on the field, before the players come on. So there was this big inflatable helmet. and the football players run out of it, and the cheerleaders that are lined up, go sports ball. And so there was this revving of an engine, vroom, 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 and I was like, ooh, I was amped, I was ready, right? And I did take some video, so I'm going to try to include everything I can in the blog post. But yeah, we were down there on the field. We were waiting for the team to come out. There was all this revving of engines, and I thought like a motorcycle was going to come out. It was going to be this big thing. The motorcycle never came out. That was totally anticlimactic, but the team came out, and we were all out there on the field cheering and having a good time. And it was something unexpected. I didn't know that was going to happen. And it was fun. So that was good. And then some of us went and just stood like on the track next to the field and hung out because we weren't going to stay the whole game because I don't really care about football. And just hang out with our friends and stuff. So some people went up in the stands, and I got my shirt and I put that on over my dress, and we just hung out. And it was really, really fun. We had a good time joking around. We took some photos. And then my friend Erica, she had just come into town. They drove all the way from Texas. And so they wanted to head out at halftime, and we went to go eat pizza at this pizza place downtown. And we stayed there for, I think it was a couple of hours, just talking and having a good time, chit-chatting, catching up. It was really great. And it was a really long day, but it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. Also, it was so humid, you guys. It was so humid. Obviously, at night, it wasn't necessarily hot, but it was so humid. Like I was just sweating the whole time, and I'm so glad that I got a new foundation and stuff to wear, because the humidity didn't like my normal makeup routine. So I had to completely redo it to combat the humidity. And we're going to talk about on Facebook Live on Thursday, the new products and stuff. So anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. And so Saturday was like the big day. We had a picnic at noon at the park, and then the big party that night started at 7-ish. So that morning I got up and I was okay. And then I just started panicking. I just felt like I wasn't going to get done, like I wasn't going to get there in time, like I was going to miss everything, like I was just an awful person. I mean, if you have anxiety, you know how it lies to you and stuff. And I just felt like I was going to fail at everything. Nobody would like me. I was going to be awful. I just started freaking out and panicking and crying. It was bad. So I posted something on Facebook on my personal page about this panic attack, and everybody was just so supportive and wonderful, and that was really nice too, because a lot of people, just don't understand how this stuff can affect you and all that stuff. It was a lot, right? And I often feel like, I'm just being kind of stupid because I'm worried about all this stuff that I shouldn't really be worried about. And so for people to be so kind about it and understanding was really helpful to me. So yeah, I got to the picnic. Everything was fine. I got there and I was wearing my flower crown and I felt very cute. It's an outfit that I've worn on the blog before. So you've seen it, but it was just really relaxing and nice. It was just a low-key event. And my friends even came up to me and asked me if I was okay and how I was doing, how I was handling everything. Was I all right? Was everything okay? And that was just like an extra thing that just made me feel really really loved and like understood, and so that was really special to me too, because I didn't know how I was going to deal with any of this stuff going in, because there were already so many emotions being back in this place where I had this really bad home life, and I had to I was kind of forced, I guess, to make this decision to leave these people that had been my family and my support system at a time when I really didn't have those things. I really didn't want to cry this much. So it was just a situation where I didn't know. I mean, I know who some of these people are because I talk to them. They're my friends, but but I just didn't know how things would be in person. I didn't know how emotional or whatever I would be with handling just being there and having these emotions come up and stuff. But I mean, that's part of the reason that I wanted to go too, is because I wanted to like face these things kind of head on and deal with them, and leave them there, quite honestly. These are things that I've had to carry around for quite some time, and I just wanted to say, hey, I remember this. I remember that house. I remember everything that happened in that house, and it's here. It's done. I'm leaving it here. And it still is stuff that affects you. It's still things that you think about from time to time. These are certainly not things that I think about every day, but but they're still issues. And so anyway, I don't want to ramble on forever. This has been half an hour already, but the picnic was great. We got rained out. A lot of people left after it started pouring rain. For me, it made it really nice because it wasn't too hot. And we had a shelter that we were under, so it was fine. And I got to hang out with my friends and chat, and it was great. We took some pictures as people were leaving, and we had a good time. And anyway, after I stayed because my friend Arissa was supposed to show up. She was the one that wasn't going to come, and I was really, really pissed at her. And so she was going to come, and so I waited to say hi to her. And Brandon pulled out his guitar and sang a couple songs, and that was really great too, because he sounds really, really great on the internet. If you haven't checked out his page at Brandon Mullis Music, you totally should. He sounds great. He's really, really talented. He's really awesome. But he sounds even better in person, you guys. And so it had been a while since I'd seen him, and he's really awesome. So he played his guitar. We had a great time. What does Normie say? Just remember, they don't define you. You're better than it all and very much loved by all your family and friends. Normie, I'm going to cry again. That was something that Brandon said too, is that, these people and these situations don't define me. And that is very important to remember, because often it does feel like like I'm always having to lose family members because they turn out to be assholes. But when I'm the common denominator, then it starts to make you wonder. But you're right, they don't define me. I am not those situations, and I had good reasons for moving myself out of these different situations and these different toxic people. So anyway, thank you, Normie. So after the picnic, we went to the hotel, Sean and I, and started getting ready for the party. I had to redo my hair and touch up my makeup and change clothes. And I ended up wearing the black high-low Torrid dress that I wore in it was in a dressing room, a fitting room post that I did. Um, but I really loved my outfit. It was the black dress with the rose gold accessories colors because our colors are black and gold. And so we had a really good time getting ready and stuff. We were able to get ready in a decent amount of time. I was kind of rushing around. I did my nails. I used those sort of nail decal things. It was by a brand called In Coco that I got at Ulta. So those were really helpful and really great for travel, and I'll make sure to link those when I do a post. But anyway, the reunion party. So it was great. It was really fun. The DJ was a little off to me. He could have played more 90s music because I totally would have gotten out there and danced. I wanted some New Kids up in there. My friend Jennifer and I were totally ready to dance to New Kids. But it wasn't completely 90s. We still had a great time. I did the electric slide and the cha-cha slide, which I'd never done before, and just hung out with my friends. And I didn't mill around too much. I'm not really of a mingler. I kind of stick in one kind of location. And in this case, I was mostly just hanging out with my girlfriends and dancing now and then. And yeah, I mean, we had some food, we drank some drinks and took some pictures, and we had a really good time. It was really nice. There were some people there that that I didn't like in high school, but they kind of kept to their own group, and so I didn't really approach them or anything. It wasn't like a big deal. But I wasn't really worried about that because I was just going to hang out with the people that I really like anyway, which I totally did. And I saw some people that I didn't know were going to be there. They came and they were super excited to see me, which always makes me feel really loved. And I was super excited to see them and meet their husbands and all of that. It was really nice. And so, excuse me. So after that, we went back to the hotel and we fell asleep. It had been a really, really long day. But then Sunday, we went out with Arissa and Erica. We went to another place to eat downtown. We got a few little bites to eat and some extra drinks and stuff. I remember that now. I just remember I left with Sean, so I thought we went back to the hotel. Anyway, we had some really tasty food. What was the place called? Craft and Vine. I had a Manhattan or an old fashioned. It was really good. And they had these deviled eggs with pimento cheese in the middle stuff. And then this bacon jam, but it was so good. It tasted like pulled pork and it was on the deviled egg. It was really, really good. So yeah, we chatted and stuff, and Erica was going to have to leave the next morning. So I had to say goodbye and I was crying. They were kind of laughing at me in a nice way. They weren't like making fun of me, but, and then I had to tell Rissa bye and I was crying. And yeah, it's just, they mean so much to me, and I don't even think that I was able to tell them that. It's just they kept me alive at a time when, you know, I might not have stayed that way otherwise. So it's just really important for me to see them again and to get to know who they are now, and they're awesome. And so it was really great to spend time with them, and I hope that we talk more, and just they're really great. So anyway, Sunday, I'm just gonna have to let the tears flow at this point because trying to dry them is just annoying. So Sunday, we got up early. We went to there's just tears like spewing out. We got to the school because we had picture day. And guess what? The sun was beating down on this football field. It was so hot. We were all just sweaty messes. Um, and so they had a guy with a drone, who was taking pictures of us. So we laid on the football field. We did these like shapes of the 98 because I graduated in 98. And that was actually really fun. Jennifer and Brandon were there also. So I got to hang out with them and spend more time with them. And our friends like Teresa and Susanna was there. And so, yeah, we had a good time. We took these pictures. It was friggin' hot though. And yeah, it was fun. So that's when I had to tell Jennifer bye, and I cried, of course, but we are supposed to do FaceTime at least once a month. So there's always something good that comes out of this sort of reconnecting and everything, which, I was really, really hoping for, going out there. I mean, these are people that I still talk to regularly, but it could probably be more regularly. Do you like these giant hoop earrings? I got them at Torrid, I think. They were just so big and awesome. I had to get them. And yeah, it was just a lot, which is why I'm talking to you about it and why I'm rambling on for however long this is. And I get it if you don't want to watch it, but it's helpful to me because I can just get it all out, right? So yeah, after the pictures, then we went to, Sean and I drove around. We went to my old middle school and I talked about, we stood over there to wait for my mom to pick us up, and we did this and that and yada yada, and over there's where so-and-so lived, and all that stuff. We drove by one of my old houses, one of the better houses. I really like tri-level houses. I like those a lot. And so this particular house that we drove by was one that that I really, really liked, and I lived there for a little bit. But anyway, then we went to see my dad's grave, and I talked to him for a little bit. It's a very beautiful cemetery where he's at. It's like sort of right next to the Masters golf course, and it's just really pretty there. It was cooler. There's shady trees. There were dragonflies everywhere. There were birds chirping. So we just kind of sat there and enjoyed the spot, and just chilled out for a little bit. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw my Insta stories. I talked about when we were there in 2007. That's the first time Sean had been out there. And to me, one of the most romantic things that someone has done, he was there with me and I introduced him to my dad, who's a grave. And, instead of kind of laughing or it being really awkward, he was so cool about it, and he introduced himself and said that to my dad, and said that he loved me and he was going to take care of me and everything. And that was just like the sweetest thing, and I was bawling, and I was retelling it on Insta story while we were there, and I started crying again. Like I said, I've been very emotional lately. So it was nice to go back and to just kind of acknowledge everything, and that was, the whole weekend was kind of sort of acknowledging things, accepting things, and hopefully just kind of leaving them there. These negative things, and also like latching on to the positive things and creating more positive things out of that, like the friendships that I have, like just creating more positive memories with these people that I love, and holding on to those positive things. So that was kind of how the day went. We went back to the hotel, just kind of regrouped and refreshed, and we were supposed to go to my friend Brandon's show that night. And he texted and was like, hey, do you want to come early and we'll have dinner? And then I have to start my show. And we're like, cool. So we went and met him for dinner. We had dinner and chit-chatted and stuff. And he got all his stuff set up. And we watched his show, which was really, really awesome. I thought that I had posted it on my Facebook blog page, but I didn't see it there when I went back. So I'll share it on the page, or at least put a link in this description too, so you guys can go check that out if you'd like. And he surprised me and he sang a song to me, and that made me really, really happy. And it was so touching to me, and it was just really, really sweet. It was a song that he sang to me when we were 13, and it was always this really positive memory from this really bad time. And so the fact that he remembered that and thought about, learning this song and putting it together, memorizing the words and learning how to play it and all this, and surprised me with it, like, that was so sweet. I probably would have been bawling like this in the restaurant, but I kept it together. I just teared up a little bit. I kept it together. And so if you watch the video, you can go to 40 minutes and 58 seconds to hear my song. But you should watch the whole thing. And it was so wonderful. And so I was just my heart is full from the whole weekend. And I was just so touched that he would do that for me. And I'm just so grateful that I got to go, and then I got to spend time with these people. I tried to go into it with no expectations, and that's really, really hard for me because my anxiety wants to know exactly what's going to happen, what everything looks like. I want to be prepared for everything. And I have always had like, I might have this conversation with this person and I'm going to say that and they're going to say this and blah, blah, blah. And that kind of goes for all events and things in my life. Like, even for like the reunion party, I had, what if so-and-so is there and they say this to me and I'll say this and I'll do this. And if they do that, then I'll do that. It's my brain's way of trying to be prepared. But what I had to do was make sure that these things I know are like what ifs. They're not actually things that are happening or are going to happen. They're just like sort of daydreams or something, and so they're not reality. And so for me, it was a situation where I had to be very diligent about not having expectations of anything. And that was really, really difficult. But I think I did a good job because I was so, I felt like I needed to be so diligent about not having expectations. And I think I did a pretty good job of that because I wanted to enjoy everything in the moment. I didn't want to be so fixated. Sorry, you guys, everything is just like, I didn't want to be so focused on the things that weren't actually happening, and I wanted to be able to enjoy everything in the present moment. I wanted to be very present, and I didn't want my expectations or any preconceived things to get in the way of that. So I was very diligent with my mind about staying focused in the present, just kind of going with the flow, and not having any expectations. And I think while that did help me a lot, and it was helpful overall, I think that I could have kind of just let go a little more and been myself a little more. Not that I wasn't myself, but I feel like um, I was so worried about being in the moment and having no expectations that I was a little more focused on that. And I think I could have relaxed a little more and just kind of, you know, gone more with the flow, if that makes sense. Because I think I didn't, I didn't, I don't know, I didn't speak up as much. I didn't I didn't converse as much. I don't know. I don't, what am I trying to say? Um, I didn't take as many like selfie. I wasn't as goofy, I guess. I wasn't as kind of silly as I normally am because I was really trying to be so focused on keeping control of my brain, if that makes sense. So anyway, I think that's something for me to learn about future me is I need to just let go a little more, and I can kind of juggle those no expectations and living in the moment with still being silly and being me and taking selfies and being stupid. And I wish that I had done that a little bit more. um, so yeah, I think whew, it was just a very emotional trip for me. Obviously I didn't expect this video to be long. If you're still watching it, I love you. You're amazing. um, but I guess we'll wrap this up. It was a wonderful trip. It really was. I learned new stuff about myself. I learned new stuff about my friends. I got to spend time with these people I never get to see. I feel like I connected with them more, and um, I just there was just so much. There was so much supportiveness and kindness and love from them, and it made me feel really special. And um, it helped me move through um, the negative stuff, um, and latch on to more positive things, things that are worthy of being celebrated, things that are wonderful about life and having friends. When I left there, I felt like I was so shit. When I left there, I felt like I was so broken and empty. And sometimes you don't find those other parts of yourself. Sometimes they're just missing, and you find new things to fit in that part of you. And shit, I'm like a mess. um and I feel like there's always been this part of me that got left there. And because those were the people that were my support. They were my family. They were all I had when my own family was just not something I could count on, and never were after that, I guess. But to leave them for me was to leave behind part of myself. And while you can't really find that exact thing, that exact part of you is gone. For me, this was like creating a new part that kind of fits in that place, and that can kind of put you back together in a way. And that's not to add pressure to them. Like, it's not pressure on them, but it was really important for me to spend time with them and see them and try to put myself back together in a better way, if that makes sense. See, I'm still working through all this stuff. um, anyway, it was just, it was a lot. Ever since I knew I was going to this reunion, it was another reason for me to go through all of these emotions and deal with these things. And I really had to mourn the loss of a life that I never got to have. Because, if my parents had been normal parents, kind parents, I could have gone to school there, and maybe I could have had a normal teenage life, and maybe I could have done normal teenage things. I didn't get to do that. I was moving around everywhere. I was raising myself. I was keeping other people in line. I was sitting in my room doing my homework and just trying to survive. I never did anything other than my homework, really. I never went on dates. I never went to prom. I never had like a normal childhood, like, ever. And so there's this, this other life that I could have had, and I didn't. And my life right now is great. But there's still this part of you that wonders what things could have been like had you gone on this other way. And maybe there's a parallel universe where things are totally different. Maybe in this parallel universe, I did stay there, and I did graduate there, and I don't know. But anyway, it's a big deal because there was just so many emotions involved, and I feel really grateful and peaceful and happy about all the wonderful things that happened while I was there. And I'm really, really grateful to the people who spent time with me and did awesome things for me. And it just means a lot to me. So I am hoping that this new piece of me resolves some things, and it's something that I'll have to work on for a while. But thank you for watching all of this. And I had a really, really great trip. It was really, really great, and I'm really, really excited to share the photos and the videos and all the awesome stuff with you. Thank you for listening to me. It was a good trip for my soul. Not only because I got to see my sister and my niece and nephew and spend time with them, which after the Augusta trip, we went back. We had another whole day with my sister before we left, and it's always hard leaving her. But yeah, I also got to spend time with these people that have always meant a lot to me. And I am so happy that I got to do that. So anyway, thank you for joining me for this video. I am sure there's more things that I will be dealing with, and some of this stuff will be in the blog post. You can look for that hopefully next week. I'm still trying to gather the photos. So thank you for dealing with all of this. And I will talk to you at least next Thursday for Facebook Live, where we will be talking about beauty products, and there will be no crying. Bye, you guys.